Sorry about that. I had to change my shirt. I was working out earlier with that shirt on, and I had to take that off. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, so let me get back to that. It seems to me that everybody, not everybody, but people that are moving to the Philippines, they're bringing so much baggage with them. If it didn't work out for them in the States or wherever they come from, Britain or wherever, Canada, Australia, they, wherever you are, wherever you go, there you are. You got to carry yourself with you. And when I hear all this gossip shit on these various channels on here, I'm hearing the same shit over and over again. I don't mean, well, talking about the cost of living in the Philippines. Gossip, everything gossip. This one girl, I guess she still has a channel, Brutally Lauren, for example. That's all she did was controversy. She was breaking up relationships. Everything was based on gossip and getting people to fight with each other and shit. Well, she's not in the Philippines, but still. Example, as we speak, Philippine Antics is on, and gossiping about Gio in the Philippines and his marriage or relationship situation. And who cares? I mean, who cares? But people go for this gossip. Now, it seems to me that if you're going to live in the Philippines, first of all, like I said on another show, she came over here with pre-existing health conditions, and which is a big no-no. I heard rumors she was going to do a GoFundMe for health insurance or something. Fucking get real. The Philippines is not for everybody, but you better understand something. It's not all about women. To a lot of people, it's about survival out here. Yes, it's true. It's very hard for many to live back where they came from, like especially United States. It's extremely hard, and as such, they'll move to places like the Philippines. It's not always because they're coming here for the women. There are other factors that bring them over here. Finding a place to live for rather cheap, and there are plenty of places out here you could live pretty cheaply. But it's all. Let's just sum it up. It's all about your lifestyle. You can hang around in bars and spend money on booze and paying for women, and you should just stayed where you were. Nevertheless, come here to a foreign country and try to make it out here, because it doesn't work all the time for everybody. Now, this one guy was on Paul's show. I guess that was Gio. Anyway, they were just knocking. I've seen so many shows where they're just knocking the Philippines left and right. Well, maybe in flaunting, I got this money, I got this, I got that, and and his girlfriend had just left him or took advantage of him with a house or something. I don't know. There's so many stories, I can't even keep up with it, really, and match the names to it, because there's so much of that shit going on out here. Yes, there are Filipinos who are going to take advantage. Of course there is. But like anywhere else, it's not that much different, really. Well, it's a little different because, there's a lot of poverty in this country. And because of that, Filipinos, some will do what they have to do to survive. But you can't classify Filipinos as that their only motive is to move above, step up the ladder of success financially, to find a foreigner that's going to take care of her and all that stuff. There's a lot of very independent Filipinos out here. Many, but they never talk about that. Not all Filipinos are out to steal from you, to take your house, to do all these dastardly things. They're not all like that. And to just generalize them and say, well, a lot of these guys are doing shows and they're gearing it to the Philippines genre, and they're talking down on the Philippines. So why are you here? Go back. But and some of them are actually they went back to America and they're still talking about the Philippines. They can't get it off their mind because they couldn't make it here. they could not make it here in the Philippines. And whether or not they had money or not, they just, it wasn't a good match to a lot of people that have come out here. It just wasn't a good match. So stay in America. Don't bring your baggage here to the Philippines. Look at Brevis, Drew Norrie. He was running away from something. Everybody's running away from something. It seems. And what makes you think your life is going to be any better out here? If you've got a really bad attitude about Filipinos, I mean, seriously, if you've got a really bad attitude, don't come out here. Because it's not going to be a pleasant experience out here. There's a lot of truth about what some people say about the Philippines. And I'm not going to discount some of that stuff because it is true. You got to be very careful who you're with, what their motive is. They're poverty driven. Okay, that's true. A lot of them are. But you have to be smart enough to know the difference. And a lot of people are not smart enough to know the difference. They don't investigate anything. I look what? You look healthier in 2025. Okay, well. Hey, I am what I am. I think most people know my age. I can't stop the aging process, man. Neither can you. As Mr. Blaze likes to say, it is what it is. And it is what it is. Well, I'm going to turn 30 years old tomorrow at will. I can't do that. Anyway, like I said on my last show, this is kind of an addendum. Sorry, I can't always read this. Let's do the Philippines. American here now, living in the Philippines. Okay. When I hear this gossip on here, I mean true gossip. It's burnout city after a while. And I've been on here for years. Hold on, I need to turn on this fan if you don't mind. Okay, man. You either got the, shall I say, the strength to face anything that might come your way in the Philippines, or you don't, and then you just bail out. Some people don't have that internal fortitude to come to a foreign country and succeed. Succeed doesn't mean that you got a lot of money. It just means that there's an acceptance of the culture. And yeah, I'll be the first to say there are a lot of differences in the culture out here. And some people can't handle it. There's a lot of things to expect. We were having a New Year's party, and our driver guy out there, we got any leftovers? You're going to hear stuff like that out here. Everybody seems to have some kind of an expectation out here. Again, the one thing is true, and I'll say it, if you're white, you're all right. It means you got money. And not everybody has money, man. 15 months. Well, it takes a long time to really figure this place out. I've been here, I don't know, going on 9 years, I'm thinking. Yeah, because my anniversary with my girlfriend is in February. So, yeah, about 9 years, man. Yeah, you got to get acclimated out here. It's not easy for everybody. It really isn't. I'm still acclimating after all the years I've been out here. I use the word bugaboos. There's a lot of bugaboos about living here in the Philippines. And you just got to deal with it. My biggest suggestion is, truthfully, don't make foreigner friends out here. Probably the worst thing you can do. I know that sounds crazy, but A lot of the foreigners are the biggest troublemakers out here. But you don't want to get involved with. There's always drama with another foreigner. Okay. Culturally, you have to understand, first of all, they're very religious people out here. I can't say that they all follow their religious beliefs. A lot of them are hypocrites, as anywhere else, when you're very religious. But, they will do things that, well, according to their religious beliefs, that they shouldn't be doing. They do it. But then, Catholics, they go to confessional booth on Sunday, and, the priest absolves them of all their sins by saying 10 Hail Marys. Come on, man. But anyway, I'm not going to jump on this religion thing, because that would really take me quite a bit of a show. And also, I don't want to attack people who are religious. I just don't happen to be. But the way the world is, if you're not part of my club, then, you're wrong on everything you believe in, because I have a belief that you should have a belief in. If you don't follow my beliefs, fuck off. That's an attitude with a lot of religious people. Their way or the highway, that's really what it is, It's sad that it's like that, but, the cattle of society, they follow through with all this. And I always talk about the cattle of society, in which I've never been one of them, at least voluntarily. I've never been the cattle of society. I don't follow trends or fads or any crap like that I don't believe in, just because everybody else is doing it. Now, I've been on YouTube for a really long time, and I've gone through some crap that people wouldn't even believe. It made for a television show, series, going on right now. A lot of shit I've been through. Still am. It's not over till it's over. And I've dealt with a lot, and I'm still hanging in there. I'm not running out in the streets pulling my hair out. I'm not yelling the sky is falling like Chicken Little. Just every day. Now, for retired people, let's put this out. If you think you're going to have the most exciting life in the Philippines as a retiree, well, that's according to what you do. Are you very athletic? Okay, but there's things you can do out here if you're very athletic. You like swimming, scuba diving, snorkeling, boating, whatever. Are you in good shape to go hiking long distances? Can you make it up mountainsides? Are you able to have that endurance? That's fantastic if you got that. A lot of people don't. And what's really scary, again, is coming here with medical conditions, and I'll say it 1,000 times, don't. In other words, pre-existing conditions. I can't talk about that enough. I came here with no pre-existing conditions. And as of today, I don't know if anything, I don't have anything that's going to kill me for all I know. Do I have any ailments? Yeah, it goes with the territory. But I have nothing that is going to kill me. But then again, if I always said on my show, you never know how good you're feeling. Just happened to you just like that. Just like that. So come prepared. What does that mean to come prepared? Well, have a little something in the bank where you have a medical emergency that you could take care of that. Something. Anything is better than nothing. I am considering getting this medical insurance, but there were so many limitations on this, and I got to put this in by the 15th if I really want to take this. And I've been scratching my head saying, I don't know. This is just hospitalization. It only covers medicines and there's no outpatient allowed on here. When you apply for this insurance, you've got to give them a laundry list of anything and everything that you've ever had. And they use that to make a determination on how much you're going to pay. I was very honest. Had a few ailments, this and that. Nothing life-threatening or anything like that, to my knowledge. To this day, But you got to spell it out. You do, because something happened to you, they won't give you coverage for it if you didn't mention, you know. Then there'll be a waiting time, it'll be the 6 months on something in particular, or 12 months on some particular condition. I don't know. A lot of people prefer to pay out of pocket, but that could be really expensive. And I would talk about something recent, you know, where I had this, was it 5 months ago now? How long has it been? Anyway, with the kidney stones again, you know. Yeah. And that was quite an adventure. I estimate that we spent over 400,000 easily from start to finish. We had to come back and remove a urethral stent, and they charge you for every piece of cotton. They charge you for like everything, everything. I'm trying. Would chronic smoking and anxiety needing medication qualify as pre-existing conditions? Yes, but 6 months to make you wait. Yeah. Oh, you have to tell them. Oh, you have to tell them you're a smoker. If you drink, you have to tell them how often you drink. Are you an alcoholic? Are you this or that? You take your medications in particular. They want to know all this stuff. It goes to the adjuster, whatever you want to call them. They make a conclusion. I can get this. I'm still, I don't know, contemplating whether I want to get this or not. You know, what would it cost? It'll cost over $100,000 per year. And there's no outpatient x-rays. Or if you're in the hospital for something, yeah, they'll cover lab tests and all that. While you're in the hospital, they'll cover x-rays, ultrasounds, all that kind of shit. If you are in. I don't drink. If you're in the hospital, yeah. No, I don't drink. Not a drop. The only alcohol that's on or in my body is alcohol sanitizing liquid on my hands or something. That's the only exposure to alcohol that I actually have. By the way, folks, this is the wind down, okay? This is the wind down. I'm getting it out of my system. My show will cease to exist in a relatively short period of time. Steve had good connections for me, for Steve who? I don't know who you're talking about. But don't come out here if you have unfinished business. You know, you have an ex-wife or something, or a relationship in the States or something, and maybe you haven't handled all that stuff. You take care of that first before you come out here. Remember to bring all your paperwork out here, divorce papers, everything you got. Birth certificates. You can't come out here without all that stuff because you're going to need them. Another thing that you got to do. Oh, Steve. Oh, okay. Oh, he's like, you know, the poster child for Pacific Cross, which is the company that could get insurance from. I've been approved. Yeah. But I haven't put out a peso yet on it. I got till the 15th. There's some forms I have to fill out or something. I don't know. I got it copied on a PDF or whatever, you know. Yeah, Steve Johnson. Oh, God. Yeah. He's buddies with everybody. Everybody. You don't know what I had to go through to even qualify for this insurance. You don't know how much money I had to spend just to, you know, telling me to go for extra tests, my creatinine level. They wanted more urine tests. They wanted other ultrasounds. I spent thousands just to satisfy the prerequisites for getting in their exalted company. It's amazing. I still keep my apartment in the U.S. just in case. Well, you're going to pay rent for your apartment where you live in the States or wherever it is, and then you're going to pay money out here? That don't make any sense. Unless you're just coming out here on a vacation or something, I could understand that. Expat, well, that's a good question too. That's a good question you're putting on. That's a good question. So I've been hesitant. I've been hesitant with that. I don't want to put out money I don't have to put out, but I don't have extended time to make a decision. They gave me till the 15th. Okay, I have an open mind about anything that could happen. It's not a bad question. It's not a bad question. With this immigration complaint against me, a very unnecessary, unwarranted complaint. But I got your point. Yes. Okay. But I do know what you mean, absolutely. You got to think forward. I don't think I have enough time to make a decision on something so big. That's an obligation of, well, it would be semi-annual. So like 54,000 pesos. Then the next 6 months, another 54,000 pesos. That's over 108 or so thousand pesos per year, which is, it's not bad. It's not bad. But very limited coverage. Steve boasts about them all the times, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Steve is a big go-between with everything that goes on in the Philippines. Good medical insurance. Yes, good medical insurance. I'm tempted to take it. I'm getting older and, anything could happen. My health might be holding out, but none of us, whether you're younger than me or my age or older than me, you just don't know what's going to happen to you. You don't know. I didn't know I was going to have a fucking kidney stone attack, excruciating pain. There's one time I had sciatica. It just came on me. It was terrible. It was hurting me for about 3 months before it really resided me. It's just, you don't know. You wake up, you could be having a great morning, and all of a sudden, boom, something hits you. I was getting a haircut in a mall one time in Ayala, and I blacked out. I was dehydrated, and I didn't even know it. I was dehydrated. Oh, sciatica? Oh, man. I don't know what's worse. I don't know. Between sciatica and a big kidney stone that's stuck in your urethra. Man, I don't know. They're both horrible. They're both debilitating. I would have to say maybe the sciatica. Maybe the sciatica, if I had to choose one of them. And what do you take for your sciatica? Are you on like pregabalin or something like that? Or they're supposed to help with nerve pain and all this? You don't, oh my God, you don't want to have a kidney stone. You read about it on the internet. Listen to these people's stories. It's something that it's almost like you wouldn't want to wish on your own enemy. It's horrible. Yeah, hold on a minute here. Get off camera for a little bit here. Good insurance is only of value in a country that provides good medical services. I'm not sure that the Philippines qualifies as having good medical. Well, it's like this. I've got Medicare, and I could go to the States or I can go to Guam or something like that. That's why I have to think about this. Well, it's a med for epilepsy, but it helps with nerves and stuff, yeah. There's a lot of multi-purpose medicines that are made for one thing and used for another. Yeah, you got a point there, though. You got a point. You definitely got a point. You know, a lot of people they say, well, save the money, and just put it out of pocket. Well, like I said, when I had the kidney stone thing, we're talking pretty close to 500,000 between several visits to take care of everything that needed to be taken care of. So about 500,000, somewhere around there. That's a lot of money. Maybe not by American standards, of course, but for Philippine standards, that's still a lot of money. It's still a lot of money. I don't care, even for Philippines. And if you had insurance, technically, that would take care of it, wouldn't it? But that's not always the case. You can't totally trust insurance companies that they're going to pay out on certain things. They'll find an excuse. Well, we can't allow for this, can't allow for that. It's taking a chance. If I was in the United States, I'd be covered, 80% anyway. Isn't that what it is? 80%? You're 20% of responsibility, whatever. That's why I did not get rid of Part B. Some people wanted to save money, and they got rid of Part B. But once you get rid of that, you ain't getting it back. And if something happened to you and you weren't satisfied with the medical services in the Philippines, and you wanted to go back to America and use your Medicare card, you fucked up. Because Part B is really, really, really. You've had great medical experiences here. They are as modern. If your health truly deteriorates, you will more than likely be forced to leave the country for better treatment options. No, you gotta be retired and all that. But a lot of people that move here, they have zero coverage. They have zero coverage. Hold on. They have zero coverage. And right now I have zero coverage, but I'm really like 50-50 on getting this. It's not the money per se, but it's the reliability of this insurance program and, the limitations, shall I say, the limitations. A lot of expats will get that Phil Health, and you could get Phil Health, but they only cover certain things. It's 20%, so your bill will be 20% less. Fazio is cheaping out on his medical. Look at him now. Well, exactly. Well, I wouldn't go back to the U.S. by choice. Let's put it that way. Not by choice. No, not by choice. There's nothing good happening in America. And that's why there's such a massive exodus from people. You got immigrants coming in, some of them illegal. They all want to be in America, the big dream. Well, maybe years ago that would be a reality, but it's not anymore. 100,000 pesos is not enough here in the Philippines in a bank for small medical emergencies. Come on, man. The minute you enter emergency room, there's quite a bit of fees involved there. Triage, everything, man. $100,000? Okay, that's different. But 100,000 pesos for emergency? Oh, I mean, little shit you got to cut or something like that, or you needed a couple of tests, you know, or something like that. Sure. You need an EKG, you need an ultrasound, some x-rays, maybe even a CT scan. But no, it all adds up. I probably would. They have some good hospitals there. People knock it. You can go. They will accept your Medicaid card. It's only like, what is it, a 4 hour flight or something? How far is that? It's not far away, is it? No, I don't think it is. I've been in Guam. I mean, as a stopover. I was outside and it was at night time, so I didn't much of anything. But there's really nothing in Guam. I mean, there seriously is nothing in Guam. And I've talked to people in line at a ticket counter there, or whatever, on a layover. And, they were saying that, if you had to live in Guam, I mean, the rent out there is comparable to, even though it's just a U.S. territory, the rent out there is comparable to a lot of places in America. And it's not a big island. They get a lot of storms out there, and I don't know. It's just wouldn't be a place for me to consider ever living. Truthfully, you had all those tests done recently. Didn't cost anywhere near what you think. Yeah, I mean the tests are no. I have a lab right here in Bantayan, actually up in the next town, Bantayan town, and they do a lot of these different testing, urine, blood, all kinds of shit. All kinds. They do ultrasound, but they don't have a CAT scan or anything like that. Um, but they do a plethora of tests, and I'm going to have my cholesterol tested. That's going to be the next thing. I like to check that, but I'm not going to go into a big speech about that. What you've learned about your overall cholesterol level is not really relevant, really, compared to what you've learned. You could have a 200, maybe even a 300, but you're not in dire straits if you have that. As I said, your liver produces cholesterol. You actually need cholesterol. It's what and I'll end it here on that thing, is that it's the saturated fats that you got to worry about. That's what's killing people. That's what's killing Filipinos, and fried food and saturated fats and all that kind of shit. So if you could avoid eating a lot of saturated, but there's things you could do. Like I said, you could boil your meat. You could get all that cholesterol and fat out of it. Proper boiling, then cooking. Wash it off, and then yeah, you could do that if you're willing to do that. I mean, if you're willing to take the time to do that, I mean, it's worthwhile, really. You like hot dogs? Horrible stuff. But, you could boil the shit out of hot dogs if you want. You'll see all that all that fat stuff going to the surface. You'll see little oily bubbles in there. Boil them. And a lot of people, they eat French fries. Okay, a lot of carbs, but you understand a lot of these products, they were already, that's why they cook well, because they already were treated with vegetable oil. And that's why they say, we have extra crispy fries. Well, it's because they were already cooked well, they already were saturated in the shittiest oil that you could ever really want to eat. Let's do the Philippines says, is that MJ the Flipper? All good results for now, so we can all do is look into better preparing with more emergency money, the insurance, etc. Yeah, hydrogenated oils. Yeah, that's the killer. And of course, sugar, the biggest enemy of your body and my body and anybody. Yeah, that's the biggest killer right there. I've seen videos and people on YouTube that are regulars. I've seen their weight and what they eat and stuff like that. And it's a no-brainer. They're starting to get at an advanced age, and some of them are. But generally, they don't live to really, they'll never live to my age. There's no question about that. I could name names, but I'm not going to name names, okay, on this show. But you might have an idea who they are. They claim they, going to doctors. This is good, that's good, that's good. Go get a test on your carotid artery in your neck, and see how much cholesterol or blockage you have on there. You might be shocked. Now, I haven't done that yet. That's something I do want to do. Is my generator fixed? Boy, you guys know everything. I got to run it. It wasn't running last time. It could have been flooded out. I know I need a new generator eventually, but I'm going to take this thing and use it until it completely breaks down. I got to find a filter for this thing, and I can't find a filter. You can create your own, actually. I still got the old filter on there. I just have to clean it out with soap, and just you get gas on there and stuff. It's an older generator, but it's done me good so far. It's 3,500 watts, and that lights up my whole place. I could run a split air conditioner on there, two of them. Use my microwave and all. You don't want to do that all at once, though. I mean, you don't want to overload, but it serves my needs. Like they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But this thing does need work. In fact, since you brought that up, um, you're reminding me. I'm going to go out today and at least get this thing started. And you have to run your generator every now and then, whether you need it or not. Just run it a little bit, get the gas flowing through and everything. Don't let everything settle in there. Let's see. The Philippines says I have early arteriosclerosis. Well, I do. So glad I did all of those tests. Now taking daily things to prevent it going further and can also reverse it. And tell me, what are you taking? What are you taking? Out of curiosity. There's certain things, like supplementation I take that could help, but try nattokinase, nattokinase, which is a fermented kind of a bean. It's been used in Asia for centuries, but yeah, you take that on a regular basis, it will actually help clear your arteries. But other things will, like vitamin D3 with K2, I take every day. Now, what that'll do with the K2, it'll it's not going to remove your plaque, but it's more as a preventative to keep things in check so that your plaque doesn't build up. Oh, you do take nattokinase. Isn't that coincidental? Yeah, CoQ10, D3, K2. Well, maybe you could help me out there, Jay, since you're a Bitcoin millionaire. I'm broke, remember? I'm broke. Yeah, you do your research. Yeah, nattokinase. I take that every day. Well, there's controversy on how much you should take to actually get it to work, but you know, and vitamin C is important too because it helps the elasticity in your arteries. I just take, I take 1,000 milligrams per day. I was going overboard when I was getting some intravenous for something that's supposed to boost your immune system, but unfortunately, it contained 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C in a form of ascorbic acid. And I think that was the tipping point on my kidney stone. And I was doing that for about a month and a half. It probably made a difference. It probably contributed to my kidney stone overall. No, you don't want to take, well, not like you're taking it every day. Still, grayscale trusts are a good buy right now. I have no idea. I'm not into that shit. I don't have that kind of money to go into Bitcoin and all that shit. I'm just an average guy. I don't have that kind of money to take a chance. It's like this: if you can't afford to lose the money, then don't engage in such ventures. I'm not a zillionaire over here. You got to play it safe. Like I said earlier, plan for a disaster. But having you were saying 100,000 pesos. Someone was telling me that for small emergencies. Yeah, but then you got to think, what happens if you have a large emergency? What are you going to do? Well, I think about it all the time. I'd have to go through my bank account and clear it out for any large emergencies. That's for sure. That's right. I'm broke. I'm broke, shill. I'm broke. Remember? I'm broke. I'm destitute. I'm destitute. Even though I didn't put my Gcash on here, it was on an older show, but I don't even keep anything on anymore. I don't know why. I did get actually two donations on that for for the day I put it on. Okay, orange guy, cut the shit. This is some of the shit that's making me get off YouTube. It's this nonsense shit that I'm so burned out on, so absolutely burned out on. People like yourself come on here and make these rude comments. If Jay's not attacking you, don't attack him. I mean, really. But why attack each other at all? No matter what you think of Jay or think of me or anybody else, that's part of the problem here on YouTube. It's a huge problem. It's just getting worse. Let's do the Philippines says the older you get, the more conservative you should be for good reason, man. Like I said, things happen to you don't expect it. I didn't expect this big adventure of a freaking kidney stone. I also had an infection because of that too. I had to treat that with antibiotics, and it could have turned into sepsis, like what happened to Fazio. He had sepsis all through his body. Oh, I'm not into that. That'll ruin your day. Well, it's kind of hard to avoid the drama on YouTube here. That's why I did a show this morning too, and I said, some do's and don'ts and all the bullshit going on here, and people are dying, and people are getting off, people are getting burnt out on this social media crap. Oh, sepsis is absolutely terrible, man. If you got symptoms of something you don't know what it is, go get it checked out. At least get a blood test, man, and a urine test. I'm serious as sin. You have to. I grew up in a family where, quite frankly, I've talked about this in the past. Alka-Seltzer was their cure-all. They didn't want to go to a hospital. Maybe they couldn't afford it or whatever. Alka-Seltzer was the cure-all throughout my mother's side of the family, anyway. Yeah, even my father. They were poor people, and they really couldn't afford to go back and forth for tests and stuff. They didn't have that kind of money. But that's kind of like the way it is in the Philippines. A lot of people are dying because they don't know they have something wrong with them, something serious. They may have some symptoms and they ignore it, but what's more they're interested in is getting that rice on the table and fish than they are spending money at a hospital or a medical doctor. Oh yeah, sepsis is the worst. Fazio, that's what he basically died of. Let's say my wife died from sepsis. She did, huh? Wow, man. That's not a good death. And let me tell you something about the Philippines. There's every microbial possibility exists out here to contract something in this country. It's a developing country. Hygienics is not like the biggest thing out here, hygiene. You don't know what you're getting when you go to a restaurant. Did they wash their hands before they prepared your salad? Filipinos wipe their ass with water and shit. They don't, some of them don't have clean hands, and then they're handling your food, and they're even handling your cutlery, your forks and knives and spoons, and they put a nice little napkin on it as if to say, this is sanitized, it's clean. But in order to put that on, they had to handle that stuff. I went as far sometimes as carrying a little alcohol rub, and I take that tissue on there and I spray it on the end of the fork or spoon. I'm serious. I don't do that all the time, but I have done that. Because the one thing I don't like is having a stomach issue. That is the worst. And then diarrhea that comes with it, and oh shit. Well, literally. That's horrible. Yeah, they use regular tap water. You might ask me, say, no, it's not tap water, but you don't know that. So you take your life in your hands every time you eat in a a restaurant establishment or eatery out here, especially the outdoor stands and calendarias. Oh God, oh, I never touched that food. Well, that's not true. She does buy a lot of the rotisserie, chicken when we can't think of what to eat and don't feel like cooking, and I don't know how that was handled, but I guess it would be okay because it's been heated up, and bacteria probably is killed on there. I guess that's safe enough. I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know that 100% for sure, but that's the most thing we ever do. And sometimes she'll buy shomai. You know what shomai is. I don't know how that's handled either. You just really don't know. Oh, absolutely. I only, well, when I buy water, it's bottled, but I have the 5 gallon thing in the house that we all use. Yeah. And that's not even as purified as you think it is. I mean, how often do they change their filtration, the carbon filter and all that shit? You got to understand one thing about Filipinos, they want to make profit. And to make profit, they have to save money. For example, they could be 6 months overdue for changing their filtration system. The carbon element in there and everything else that they got going. Okay. They don't want to put out the money on filters because that could get pretty expensive. That could be their profit for several days or more by doing that. They also, in all these eateries, they use the same. I've talked about this, but why not? They use the same oil that they probably had for how many months? How many things have been cooked in that same oil? But what happens though, when you overcook oil, if you're that concerned about your health, and I don't mean the oil itself, that it's fatty and all that, oil can turn cancerous when it's been used, burned out. Same as like charring your food. People like to char their food, whether it's chicken or whatever it might be, which is popular. For food, for taste, is actually an invitation toward the possibility of adding to your cancer risk. Besides anything you do in your life that's not good, smoking or anything else in the environment, it's just more shit to worry about. So just don't char your food. Don't char it. Oh, fuck yeah. I guarantee you they're using that oil over and over again. Philippines are out to make a profit, okay? More than a profit. Shit, when I came out here, and unfortunately I do smoke, I don't drink, but you could get a pack of cigarettes for about, I don't know, 50 pesos or something. 9 years later, almost. They're selling for about 180 pesos. 180 pesos on an average. Goes to show you how far that went up. You should be able to get a sack of rice for 1,500 pesos back. How long that's been. Now, a sack of rice is going for over 3,000. A good sack of rice is going for over 3,000 pesos. Now, Philippines, rice is life. It's gold. It's God. It's everything out here. It's sustaining food. Not much of anything nutrition really on regular white rice, but they're afraid to have rice that's colored, like, if it's brown, because it takes more cooking for one and it's more expensive. They won't eat basmati or anything like that, or jasmine rice, which is healthier, because it costs more. They want the basic rice to sustain their stomach. Of course, you're getting all the carbs, and that adds up, turns to sugar, and they get diabetes eventually. Diabetes is a huge thing out here. It's monumentally huge. It could go rancid. Even relationships could go rancid. So if you ever had stomach problems before and you got a stomach virus or something, you know how horrible that can be. That's like the center of your core of your body. You know, you get something going on with your stomach, you're down for the count. You're down. On top of that, you're going to go loose. You get diarrhea. It's horrible. I remember making a trip when I was almost feeling that way back from Cebu on a bus to where I live. I made sure that I stopped at uh, when they had a stopover in Carmen. That's why I take the grab cab, you know, if I ever had an emergency like that. Because, he'll stop wherever I want to. I want to smoke. That's what I want to do. I'll get out, stretch my back, utilize wherever I want to go. We want to stop at which I don't like to do, but on the road, you do that. A fast food place, which is, not the greatest idea. But when you're on the road, you just need something to fill your belly. You can't hang around a restaurant for a long time because you got a driver waiting for you. You're paying for that, But I've had drivers that are really good with that. It gives them a break too. They can get out, stretch their legs. If they smoke, they smoke. If they just want to get something to eat, they can do that. So it works for them too. But we usually buy lunch and stuff like that for the drivers. We always do that. It's actually traditional here, actually. Good info. Thanks for sharing your experience in such a calm and enjoyable manner. Oh, you're welcome, Nancy Smith. So the first show I did of the day, I was explaining that whether you think the Philippines is the greatest place for you to live out here, developing country, some call it a third world. It's more like second world, really. But if you've seen how some people are living, you would say like fourth world, not like India or Bangladesh or something like that. That's pretty bad. But the Philippines is not technologically. Oh boy, early up there. They haven't caught up with technology, infrastructure, and all that stuff. They haven't. They're like 50 years behind, if not 100 in some things. There's no really good sewers in the streets that really work. There's no garbage cans to allow you to put your refuse in there, unless you go to places like IT Park area here in Cebu, and your Makati over in Manila and places like that, where you think you're in a California town or somewhere. They have garbage cans set around if you really look. Now in Cebu proper, there's no garbage cans. That's why you see so much refuse. That's why it's disgusting. You many times you'll find the smell of piss because everybody pisses on the road. It's not like there's these CRs, what we call CRs, comfort room, instead of calling it a bathroom or a restroom, they call them CRs. And, it's not like they're scattered around for people. So they got to go. They just whip it out and go. It's a little harder for a woman. She's got to find an alleyway or a corner. She could kneel down. And some of them don't have any shame at all. They're just, whatever. The men, you see them pissing all the time. They're getting off a jeepney or something. Even a driver. Find the nearest tree. They don't care who's looking. I got to take a piss. And they do it. There's no shame about it at all here. Not one bit. This is Philippines life, man. And I've been doing shows for 9+ years. And I've let the cat out of the bag on everything about the Philippines. And not all bad either. Not all bad. My show, I would basically tell you my experience, not based on somebody else's experience. I could tell you people truthfully the good and the bad, the do's and the don'ts of living out here. It's unfortunate I'm not going to be really moving on with my future with staying on here. It's been a gradual process for me, but it's going to be a complete cutoff at one particular point. Because truthfully, I've talked about everything, and it's just a volatile atmosphere on YouTube in this Philippines vlogging genre. It's been nothing but problems for me, and it's been nothing but problems for other people, and it's not worthwhile. If you're going to live out here, stay away from the foreigners. All they want to do anyway is hang around in the bars and get drunk. A lot of them, I'd say the majority of them are alcoholics, no question. They move out here because the alcohol is cheap. That's one of the reasons. That shouldn't be a reason to move out here. That really shouldn't. But if you're living on a fixed income with Social Security and you drink and you smoke along with that, you got some expenses, brother. You're not going to afford that in America, where cigarettes can go up to $20 a pack in some places. Am I wrong? Certainly 12 to 15 in some places, major brands. What if you smoke, let's say, a couple of packs a day or more? If you're that much of a smoker, do you mean you're going to be spending $45 a day to smoke? You better have a professional salary to do that. I was in Hawaii, where I lived there. I go to 7-Eleven, and there's one gal worked behind the counter. She had to work that job just to support the habit between her and her husband for smoking. She said it. She said it to me, that they couldn't afford their cigarette habit. She was working in 7-Eleven behind the counter. All that money she made was going towards cigarettes, and that's really bad. I don't know what they are now. I know they were going high in Hawaii when I lived there, but as I said, when I came out here, they were like, I don't know, what was it, 50 pesos or something? 40 maybe? I don't know. Now they're about average about 180. If you look around, you might find 160 at this one store I go to. But on an average now, they're all charging up to 180. That's like 360. I don't know, approximately. Like, well, how many packs are you going to buy? That's the first thing. One pack will cost you over three. Let's see. What did I say? It was about 180. That's 360 pesos if you buy 2 packs. Yeah, so do the math. It gets expensive. As I said, when I lived in Hawaii, I used to roll my own. I had a really nice steel uh, little doodaddy. It wasn't one of these cheap things. It was about $75 plus. Had the hopper in there, and you put the tobacco in there. You pat it down the right way, and you buy a box of these tailor-made cigarette casings, with the filter on it. You have a little nipple at the end of the cigarette rolling machine. You place it on there. Now you put the tobacco in there, and one whip of your hand, you got a tailor-made cigarette. And I used to buy this Kentucky blend. They had it in bags. They couldn't sell it as cigarette tobacco because they would have been taxed up their ass. So they had to call it. Pipe tobacco. There was a difference, and the only difference between cigarette tobacco and pipe tobacco is how it's actually cut. One is more coarse than the other. That's all it is. That's all it is. Oh, Marlboro is nasty. I started off on that shit. That stuff is strong. I do a Winston thing. And some people think that's really strong, but no, Marlboro, it just has a horrible smell on that. It gets on your clothes. It's a big difference. I mean, don't get me wrong, even Winston, if you smoke enough, you really should have a courtesy of changing your t-shirt or something or do that. I don't smoke in the house. I don't do anything like that. You know, Now, I'm not advocating smoking, just, keep that in mind here. We're just talking about it. And really, you may not smell it, but I'm sure somebody else does. It's a nasty habit. It absolutely is. There's no question about that at all. It'll take its toll. But look, I can't spend all day. I already did a show this morning, and I'm doing a show now. And God, I even forgot the topic because we just went into a bunch of different shit on here. Oh, about all the screw ups that you see on YouTube and that are moving or have moved to the Philippines and all the trouble they're getting into. And they're bringing all their problems here. And they put shows on, and one of the key things they do on here is clickbait. Paul in the Philippines, for example, his everything is clickbait on there. He's a car salesman, or was a car salesman, and he still has that demeanor and personality of a car salesman. He's not my favorite character. I'll listen to him here and there. I'll admit that. And, he'll try to have special guests to bring more people in. He's making a little bit of money every month now, and personally, I don't think he'd be surviving that well without his YouTube show. I think his health is kind of deteriorating from what I understand. There's different things going on. But, people are dropping like flies. And as you get older, well, expect the unexpected. I mean, I think all the time about my mortality. You will when you start getting to be a senior and all that stuff. You do, and you will. I mean, you're not going to dwell on it all day, but it does come to your mind. You got a partner, a wife, or whatever, and you're thinking about her, and that's why you take care of her. If she's the real deal, and I don't mean shill, if she's the real deal, and she's taking good care of you and loving you and everything else, and she's honest and true, and you can trust her, by all means, leave her something. What are you going to do? Get buried with it? I bought a house, but I didn't buy it 6 days or 6 weeks or 6 months in a relationship. I didn't buy this house until 6 years into a relationship. I wanted to be sure what the fuck I was doing. May I advise that to anyone. Don't go run off and try to win the heart of a Filipino that you find attractive and buying her a house and this and that. How many guys have gotten thrown out of their own fucking house? How many guys have had women that they thought they could trust and, it didn't turn out that way. And you know who's going to get the house? She is. Now, my name is on the paperwork. It is my house as much as hers. But the thing is, I can't sell it. She would have to agree to sell the house. And if something happened, we'd split the profits, whatever. You can't own land. You can't own land. You could lease land long term. But some people say, no, I'll never buy a house out here. Well, it works for me because I don't have to pay rent. And it helps her future. When time for me to leave this earth, she is at least covered. She has a house. She can do whatever she wants with it. Stay in it forever. She will turn it over to her kids if something happened. It's just a gift that keeps on giving. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. She worked hard and your Filipino bought her house. I'm just living with her. Yeah. I heard he didn't, Paul heard he didn't prepare well for the Filipino to have access to anything. He just got screwed off. Yeah, who just had a baby? Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, I get you. A lot of people, man, it's just coming here. They don't have a clue why they're here. They come here for the women, but they don't think about other things, medical things that could happen, pre-existing conditions they have. They go out drinking and they think they're going to be healthy. They just fall for the first Filipino. I didn't fall, never fell for the first Filipino I met. That never happened. I mean, the one that I'm with now, that was not she was not my first Filipina out here that I dated. She was definitely not the first Filipina. Okay. So, although I made mistakes a couple of times, actually, before who I'm with now, but I certainly learned my lesson from it. I didn't go hog wild like some of these expats do, buying houses at the time and spending tons of money and giving tons of money to the family. Those are simps, as they call them. I was never a simp in that way, never, and I still not. Anything I've done for her, I did quite willingly. She never asked to have a house. She never insinuated or hinted about having a home. She was happy with the rent. She was happy with the status quo. I'm the one that saw some deal and I decided to buy it, and it all turned out real well. Yeah. Okay, guys, I got to go. And there's a lot of shit I actually have to do around here, and I got to go downtown. I got to, do the one-armed bandit ATM machine, withdraw a little cash while there's any money in them. Boy, we've had so many tourists here that it's just emptying the machines left and right. And boy, what they charge on these things too, though. You add up all the fees, you're spending quite a bit of money on an ATM just to retrieve your money. Well, you certainly are. Yeah. Well, it's good that she bought her own house and you lived there and all that. There's no problems then. You didn't invest any money out of your pocket unless you helped her fix it up. There's nothing wrong with that either if you're going to live there. You want modern conveniences? You help with that too. It's her house, help out. You're living there. Doesn't hurt to help out. You didn't have to buy the house. Now, me, I put out 100% of the money. She has her own, but I put out 100% of the money on the house and renovating it a bit. I spent all that. It was out of my pocket. Okay? But in my situation, she was not looking for a house. She never even hinted to that. Although it worked out real well, she's got herself a house, let's face it. If I had a problem with that, I would not have bought the house. At all. Yeah, you helped fix it up. There you go. Decided to pay the bills, which are pretty low. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to help each other, man. You got to help each other. It just doesn't work otherwise. And, she's not your yah-yah or something. A lot of people, they treat their wives or girlfriends out here like they're indentured servants or something, or, they're maids or slaves or whatever. It's a horrible attitude some people have about women. Yeah, I didn't want her to work. Hell no. I didn't want her to work. I said, what are you going to go to work for? You're going to work 8 to 10 hours a day and make what? she'll take care of that. You don't have to work. I bring in enough here that gets us by and even more. If she doesn't have to work, what do I put her to work for? Unless that's something she wants to do because she wants to feel creative, break things up a little bit, and get out and do this and that. I invest to make decent dividends, stock options, so it's easy for me to pay the bills. No, I'm not really in that position. What happens to the house if we separate? It's her house. It's her house. That's what happened. It's her house. You know, she could decide to sell it and throw some money to me if something happened like that. She could do what she wants. Doesn't matter how much I spent on the house. It is her house. My name might be on the paperwork. Yeah, that means something, but it doesn't mean a lot. I mean, it just means I have the option of if we ever did break up or something, I'd say, well, listen, I spent all that money on this house, would you agree on selling this house and we'll split the profits? Whether she'll do that or not, I wouldn't know. But she's quite happy here, and I really wouldn't do that. I bought the house really for her. Well, for me too. I mean, to enjoy it, of course. But, no rent to pay, and that's good. It's excellent. And it's an investment in her future too. And not many people want to think about their Filipinos that way. They just make mistakes of becoming a simp. They're trying to impress them. I'm going to buy you a house. I'm going to buy you this. I'm going to buy you that. Send the family money. What jerk off? That's being a jerk off who does that. I will never bring myself to do that. Okay, I'm out of here, guys. I don't know when I'll see you again, but I got some shit to do today, and I got to go downtown. I got to do some shit. Thanks for tuning in. And I get to spend a little time with my little woman, if you don't mind. She hates me being on YouTube, by the way. But that's going to be remedied pretty soon now. If not, this ain't the last show. I'm not sure. Well, I'm not going to quote that. I always do, and I'll shut my mouth.